Happy 21st birthday, Rebaa. Mark Errichiello here, your Victorian State Representative. I'm proudly sharing with you today a bit of an overview on our Victorian market over the last 12 months. It's certainly been a challenging 12 months that we're all experiencing with the global pandemic, but in particular in Victoria, we've just come out of our 5th lockdown. So the lockdown in Victoria is certainly challenging from an aspect of real estate. When we hit stage 4 lockdown, we're not permitted to inspect any properties in person, so needing to adapt online where possible. The best part of the last 18 months, at least 6 months of it's been in lockdown, including homeschool, working from home, and with real estate and many other businesses suffering. That's been the main challenge. But from that, there's also been a lot of positives in the market as well, including record low interest rates, which we've all experienced. In Victoria, we had many incentives on tax and stamp duty, which helped lift the market out of the lockdown period as well from 2020, and from 2021, March and June quarters have probably been the best that we've experienced in these quarters for a long time, and certainly rapid growth with incentives. Right from October is when our market really started to pick up. So most of the data here showing the growth will be in the March and June quarters. As you can see, Melbourne, the annual change by that period was 12% growth. We were seeing 10 to 15% growth across Melbourne and Victoria on average with houses. Units were getting growth as well, but there was a bit of damage in the apartment market, and mainly in the CBD around Melbourne City and Docklands and the close fringes of the CBD as well. So as mentioned, the apartment market that got hit the hardest or greatly affected would be the inner city and Melbourne CBD areas with high-rise, high-density apartments that were major factors catering for new residents here on student education visas and working visas migrating here. Pre-pandemic, our population was thriving in Victoria with a good 60 to 80,000 net growth per annum, on track to be the largest metropolis and major city in Australia. So we will get back there with post-pandemic, but these apartments in particular, they're suffering. Vacancy rates increasing, yields decreasing, and probably won't get back until the pandemic's over. It's not all gloom. The property market, even just in June alone, in the June quarter, was seeing some of the best growth on record for this quarter. June getting back to strong property listing and auction volumes as well. And Melbourne Metro established housing areas within 10 to 20, 30 kilometre radius, and especially regional areas with good sized family homes and townhouses. That's where the silver lining is. People thriving for lifestyle, work from home, good communities, good established areas for families as well. That's where the stronger bet is right now. Looking at houses in Victoria in particular, and also with units, with the June quarter still getting great growth, regional areas thriving again, looking at growth in the June quarter being probably the top performing period, but still getting 5-6% healthy growth in metro areas as well for houses. Talking about the suburbs and best performing suburbs, but the lifestyle choices and areas that perform the best in growth, we've got East, we've got Hawthorn East there as well. The Mornington Peninsula probably performed the best as a region in total if you look at municipalities as well, but definitely some of the suburbs in the west there, like Newport as well, getting great quarterly growth and annual change also. So yeah, very good results in Victoria as well for some of these regions. Some top performing units in the June quarter as well compared to March, just consistent growth throughout the periods. Glen Huntly, one of the top performers, and these are the unit and townhouse category. So overall, we're up and positive even in the June quarter. So metro areas, in houses and in units, everything's positive. And reached the biggest auction market for any June quarter, so up again, getting rising volumes with number of auctions in the month and clearance rates as well. So if we stay out of lockdowns, the auction volume there, over 11,000, close to 12,000 auctions just in the June quarter. Very healthy clearance rates in the 70s and 80s, and pushing into sort of high clearance rates, which can be a bit dangerous in the 90s, but good overall. We haven't shared much on the commercial market in this report, but the RLV has provided some extra data on residential and commercial. If anyone wishes, I can share those reports with them. The yields have obviously been greatly affected from the pandemic, and vacancies in the commercial market. Some of this data takes into account rental deferrals and rental decreased periods. But the market's probably seen more activity in the purchasing sales side in the last quarter. Most of the activity with the commercial and industrial and retail sales, especially the top results in these areas in the June quarter, have been well outside of the CBD. Sites again mentioned with development potential, or sectors of the industry like health that are doing well, and they're usually within about a 50-kilometre radius covering with these suburbs. The biggest change in the residential rental market as well was that the government still continued to bring in over 130 reforms with the Residential Tenancy Act regulation changes as of March 29. Most of this was relating to minimum standards and upkeep of property to minimum standards, so controlling the residential tenancy providers and landlords, making sure they maintain their homes. Just something that advocates and property buyers need to be aware of as well when purchasing property. Again, regional areas thriving with people moving out of the city and even testing where they want to live first by renting or rent vesting as well. And metro areas for houses, that's where there's been growth, not apartments. As mentioned earlier, the apartments is what's bringing back the rental yields and the vacancy rates increasing. Thanks for listening, guys. The data was provided by the REIV for our AGM and the Victorian updates provided, so I've just put their disclaimer in here and our own as well. I would have loved to share more of this section. This is my favourite part. I love what we do as buyers agents and as a Rebaa community. This is a member highlights voices of Victorian buyers agents. So one of our members and veterans in real estate with many years experience, Michael Ramsey, Director of the Advocates Property Advisory, he went on to let me know and share a story where he used his time during our lockdowns to follow up in consistency with past clients. He followed up over 300 past clients. One led into an investment property, a subsequent investment property for a past client, and also a further 4 referrals from that client, and reigniting a great relationship. Some of the properties he was purchasing $50,000 below the client's expectations. So great stories. Look forward to hearing more of them as well. I look forward to seeing you in person next time when we're no longer in a virtual AGM and sharing some drinks together. Don't forget, part of the AGM, the Victorian Real Estate Institute of Victoria agreed for 2 CPD points for any of the participants. So yes, we'll confirm your registration that you've attended, and I'll send off the lists as well to the REIV. And yeah, always feel welcome to contact me as your state rep. I hope I'll be your state rep for another year to come, and in person we're looking forward to booking some events and celebrating at the end of the year in November as well. So stay tuned. Take care, guys.